name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al Masjid Sharia Allah, a small religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. I come to you today, tonight or evening, whenever you're looking at this, and talking to you now about what's happening with these revolts around the world. I myself do not know exactly who is revolting, who's rebelling against the governments of these countries. I don't know if they Sunni, Shia, Sufi, Ahmadiyya, or what they are. One thing I can say for sure, I don't see them with signs saying, we want pure Islam, or you want Islam in this country to be an Islamic country. We want our leadership to be following Islam. We ousting our leadership because they're not following Islam. Or that they're kings and there's no kings leading Islam. And we want this land to be under the control of Islam. I don't see any of that. So, until I see that, I really can't make a decision on whether I'm for the group that's doing the rebelling or the group they're trying to get out. Because if they're not for Islam, it's the same thing to me. It's all the same to me. If it's not fully for Islam, regardless of which group it is, it doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't benefit me in the least. So, I'm going to take it that way and then say that I see a lot of people, especially in Egypt, they have signs about jobs. They want jobs. They want more independence and jobs and decision making and stuff. And again, I don't see no Islam being hauled for. It's pure Islam. See, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying there is no Islam there. I'm saying that Islam today in a lot of these countries is being watered down. A lot of people around the world today that call themselves Muslims, they want a spiritual Islam and not a physical Islam. They call themselves moderates and all that kind of stuff. Then you got people call themselves jihadists and they want a different kind of Islam. They want a jihadist Islam. And all of them saying something that is not in Islam. You see, jihad in Islam means to strive forward with all effort against whatever it is that's attacking you, whether it be verbally, physically, spiritually, or what kind of attack it is. But Allah says that in the Quran, attack them that attack you. Attack them that attack you. I say it one more time. Attack them that attack you with what they attack you with, except disbelief. Now, disbelief means that we're doing an action that is illegal in Islam. That's considered disbelief against someone. And that's what we're not supposed to be about. So, when a person turns around and kills himself in a car, a truck, or whatever, trying to get to you, trying to blow you up, that person is doing something that is not accepted in Islam. You can't kill yourself and others at the same time. So that's a no-no. But what I'm trying to say now is that I'm explaining to you that what disbelief in Islam. Now, jihadists, in the word, using the word jihadists, see, some people take that all out of line. There's people today trying to make that look like we killers. We going around causing problems and starting trouble. But that's not true. A jihadist explains itself, one that's striving in Allah's name. Constantly striving in Allah's name. As a sincere jihadist, if the name can be, if that's the correct way of saying it. A mujahideen is one that's striving in Allah's name also. Strictly striving in Allah's name. A fundamentalist is one that wants to go back to the way it was during the days of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, which was very good days. So all of them have a purpose. Now, there is no terrorism in Islam. There's no burning people up and all that kind of stuff that's going on. That's not acceptable in Islam. Throwing bombs down their chests and all that while they sleep, that's not accepted in Islam. So we don't consider that person doing that a Muslim. And it's not accepted in Islam. But everybody around that's trying to keep Islam from growing phrase it that way, that all of us that's put on these garments is jihadists and terrorists. And that's not true. They got people around the country, this country here, the United States today, talking about they don't want a masjid next to their house. They don't want a masjid next to their house. It's a shame that we Muslims are being destroyed, or somebody's trying to destroy us for being true to Allah. And there's many countries that they hug and kiss on and do business with that killed millions of people. Who can be as nasty in killing than Germany? And they're supposed to have killed 6 million Jews. Who can be as nasty in killing as Italian people when they marched into Libya and killed up all the Lebanese during the time of the Dutch? Who could be as brutal in killing than the French when they marched in Algeria and killed and slaughtered and took skin off of people and made all these different objects out of their bones and stuff? Who can be more slaughtered, more killing, more nasty and killing than the United States when it bombed Hiroshima and killed all them women and children. And who could be more sneakier and whatnot than the Japanese that bombed Pearl Harbor? What have the Muslims done to anybody like that? Where in history have they done this kind of stuff that these other people did, and you're marrying them and you're loving them and you're doing business with them and everything else? So I want you to explain that to me, the people who listen at the program, and tell me how come you can live next to these people, a lot of them people, and you can't live next to Muslim mosques that don't hang out in front, don't have no loud music playing, don't have no banging and all that doing Sunday or Saturday. Everybody got their clothes on that walk in and out of there. There's no nakedness showing, no knees showing, no thighs showing. All the respect in the world. But yet you want to treat us like we some kind of plague or something. I'm trying to show the world what, show the people exactly where everything's coming from. We're not your enemy. There's only one Muslim group or person that calls themselves Muslims that's trying to poison anybody, and that's Afghanistan with the dope selling stuff, which we disagree as Muslims that they should do that. You see, we have been known to stop drug selling in our neighborhoods. In everybody's neighborhood, stop drug selling. We have been known to break up crime waves in the neighborhood. We have been known to protect women and children in the neighborhoods. Against drugs and crime and alcohol, all other kind of crap. And these people that we've been able to protect, it's not all Muslims. They were non-believers and everything else in the neighborhood. But yet we the worst kind. You got us down as being the bad guys. I myself tried to explain that to you and try to let you understand that. We're not the ones hanging people up in trees. We're not the one calling people niggers and wops and all this kind of stuff. We're not the ones that's walking around here selling liquor and beer and all that. We're not the ones raping our sons and daughters and all that kind of stuff. We're not the ones that's preaching all that kind of stuff. We're not the ones walking around here showing our bodies, our legs and dress and everything else, and all the different non-decent way of dressing that is going on. And I can go on up the line and down the line, across the line, saying the same thing over and over again. Not the same thing over and over again, but showing different things that we not doing, that you're doing, and yet we the bad guys. Look at it. Look at us. Look at the history of the Muslim against the history of the people out here in this world. Look at the history of the church against the history of the mosques. Look who ruled the country, England, France, Germany, and these other places, and took the wealth from the people and used it up on their own selves. We're not doing this. Matter of fact, the majority of the Muslims are poor. Poor as a church mouse. Poor. Have no money. So why is it that we hate it so much and blame for so much stuff that we haven't done? Now you say them people that did that, that brought them people over from overseas and brought out people from overseas and slave ships and put millions of brothers, millions of people down in the middle, in the ocean to keep from being caught, or because they were sick and couldn't feed them. That came over on religious ships with religious names and righteous religious captains, religious crew. Look at, look at this thing. Look at yourselves. Examine your own actions and then compare them. Rightfully compare them with the actions of the Muslims. The actions of 1.5 billion Muslims. Yes, there's places like Darfur, Somalia. There's times we Muslims didn't go marching in those countries to save the Muslim. But we didn't do all this other stuff. I've been on this earth for 75 years. And during that 75 years, my memory goes back to when I was a little boy in Brooklyn, when the war first started between Europe, between America, Germany, and Japan. I remember when Pearl Harbor was bombed. I remember when we sold the 6th Avenue L and all the L's to the Japanese, and they turned around and dropped it on us on Pearl Harbor. And made bombs out of it and blew up islands, the Philippines and all them kind of places. So, you tell me, do we deserve what you've given us? I don't fault people by trying to fault a lot of stuff. I don't blame a lot of people for their actions as much as others do, because a lot of the actions is based upon fear. Not fear that something good is going to be taken away from you, but something bad is going to be taken away from you. That partying, that drinking, that dope selling, and all the other stuff will be taken away from you. If Islam becomes a superior way of life around the world, if Islam becomes the dominating religion for all mankind, I can understand you trying to make Democrats and Republicans underneath the Constitution out of Muslims. And push them into your way of life. I don't understand it. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. I'm striving against it wholeheartedly. I'm for you be who you are and I be who I am, but we treat each other with equal respect. That you would be a Christian or a Catholic or whatever you want to be, and I be a Muslim, and we work together in this world as far as we can. Like the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, to you your way and to me mine. You're not going to convert to my way, and I'm not going to convert to yours. So let us part in peace and understanding of each other and live with each other. You don't have to marry, you don't have to dance and sleep with each other, but we can work and live with each other. Live on the same block, the same neighborhood. Can sell each other goods, food, other things. We don't have to be kissing cousins or control of the other. So I'm looking at this thing now, so I'm looking at this thing here that's going on with these countries, 5 countries that's having an uprising and yelling for democracy. Excuse me. You can't have, a Muslim can't have 2 ways of life governing him or her. Excuse me. And this is what's happening to us. You trying to make us do. Or you trying not to make us do. You're trying to make us drop out our one into a spiritual thing and pick yours up as a material thing. Now, the United States is supposed to be a democratic country. I'm not trying to make it anything other than what it is. I'm not trying to take anything away from you, the American people, which I am American citizen. I was born here. My father and his father and his father was born here. And then another part of my family was here before you got here, the Caucasian. And the other people. I'm part Native American. Now, I'm gonna go back to this thing, this rebel rising stuff that's going around the country, around the world now. In Yemen, in Libya, in Egypt, and Bahrain, oh man, I can't even pronounce it. Bahrain, and I think they should be yelling for Islam. I see problems, I see a lot of problems in what's happening with the democracy now in this country. A lot of problems with it. They running loose goose. Democratic people are doing what they want to do. They interfere in other people's lives. They passing laws to make narcotics legal. They passing laws here and there to make marijuana a medicine. They got all this new stuff coming about. They're walking around half naked. You go to a movie today, it looks like you go to a movie today and it looks like an adult movie. They cussing like drunken sailors on television and radio. Everything got to be censored because you can't look at nothing no more. The so-called PG-13 and all that. Got adult cussing in it and everything else. It's falling to pieces. And it's rolling downhill very fast. So I don't see where we should become, that should be pushed, become a part of it openly all the time. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, ar-Rahmanir-Rahim, maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta ghayril maghdubi alayhim wa lad-dallin, amin. Alhamdulillah.